Good morning, Dr. Miller.
Hello, Medge. Good to see your smiling face again.
Nice to see you too. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Medge Jaspan. I'm a positive psychology practitioner. And today I am very glad to welcome Dr. Judith Miller. She was my teacher, my professor of spiritual psychology at Columbia University. So, in this time of external chaos, we all of us we are looking for something to have an internal transformation. And Dr. Miller will tell us more about her work and her breath work. So,
Certainly.
welcome.
Thank you very much. I have been doing breath work for almost 30 years. It started when I engaged in a training program with Dr. Stanislav Grof, um, who had just started the idea of holotropic breath work. So I went there for 3 years. I was having my own personal experiences of expanded consciousness that I didn't understand. And I knew of Dr. Groff through his writings. And I thought, what the heck? I'd bite the bullet and check all this. It really uh, changed me and the way I work for the balance of my career. Um, I was a regular traditional PhD psychologist. And I realized after this experience that um, mainstream psychology just doesn't even come close to doing it. And it opened up a whole new world for me that completely transformed the way I've been working all these years.
Okay. So, I remember the first time that we met, and I was struggling at first because I had trouble to understand the full concept of the breath work. And I was focusing on positive psychology, which is people believe it's all about positivity. It's not. It's about really finding your inner strength in order for you to thrive in daily struggle, I will say, in
Mm.
life. So I use this strength, this positive psychology as a tool to really live better, to feel better all the time. But when I remember our discussion, it wasn't about just feeling better. So tell us more about the deep meaning of breath work, because some people will be like me at first, will not understand it.
Sure. So I think we can see in the last year at least that the human condition is very complex. In addition to the world struggling with this virus, we can see and become aware of chaos and difficulties all over, politically, personally, with mental health. It's almost as if the shadow um,
Mhm.
that people typically don't want to look at has exploded for us all to be part of and see. This is very reflective of a very important theme in the breath work. So what the breath work simply is, it's an opportunity in a safe container for people to expand their consciousness and to learn that they have an inner healer, a wise inner part of themselves that will guide them and lead them to face and deal with whatever issues they need to, so that they can heal and become the best that they can be. Does that make sense?
So that makes sense. However, so in this time where breathing it's difficult, yes. So sometimes we hear that you do it online, you will breathe online, and I know we talk about it, and it's important to really create a safe place where we come, because going inside it's not easy.
Right.
Facing your demon, your darkness, it's not easy. It's easier to say, okay, I'm a good person, I'm in light, I feel good, I want to feel good, so I will do all the motivation, the coaching that exists. But the deeper work, when you go inside and you face
Mm.
the darkness, what really happened in breathwork.
Yeah. So in breath work, it everybody has a different experience, which is
Mhm.
what makes me so enthusiastic about it. It's I can never get burned out or bored because each individual has a tremendous light within them, as well as human shadow in terms of unresolved childhood issues. So it's a combination of both. What the breath work does, and it's the inner wisdom that leads everybody there, it will help a person face what it is that's really important for them to learn at the moment. So, for example, some person might, excuse me, go back to early childhood where there was a toilet training trauma,
Mhm.
and they might get, open to that fear and that lack of confidence that has stayed within their personality. And they might have to face it, to see it, to go through it, so then they can move beyond it and it doesn't have to wait on them. Somebody else could have a huge mystical experience of white light and oneness.
Mhm.
Somebody might see Jesus.
Mhm.
Somebody might see the Buddha.
Mhm.
Somebody might feel energetic body of feelings and be able to open up blockages in their chakras. So everybody will have the experience that they need that will move them on what I call psycho-spiritual development, because opening up to these strong energies as we do in the work pushes up whatever needs to be faced and dealt with. And, I have to say, Medge, there's a lot of spiritual work going on today, much more than when I began my career 30 years ago. Um, and while that's wonderful and it's important, sometimes I think it's too much on the surface, and people are just wanting to look at, as what you said, the light, the love, the happiness, and yet we are living in a reality that is very dualistic. There are opposites, and the human condition is to face and go through those opposites to be able to get beyond them.
Yes, and it's very important. Absolutely, it's important because I see in my work as well. I have to do that, and for all of you who are maybe practitioner, as a practitioner, I came and I did the work with you, and it's helped me tremendously because I realized that I have unresolved issue as well. Even though it's before doing the work, I went to therapy. I did the clinic. I call it the clinic because before helping people, you need absolutely to help yourself and to be clear to be able to help others. However, the breath work, it's really giving you the opportunity to work at the time. So during how it work, explain to people because I went through it, but how it work.
Okay.
So is it one session? Are you talking about the classes or the trainings that you will be offering in Florida very soon?
Yeah. So, what I appreciate most of all in terms of this work is when I am able to do what I call training programs. And the last 15 or 20 years, actually, it's probably about 15 years, I've been traveling the world and I've been working with different groups of people in 2 and 3 year programs, meaning that they come twice a year and they can be together for like a week at a time, twice a year. And so it's a relatively small group, like 20 some people. And so that stay together over 4, 6 times,
Mm-hmm.
week at a time. And so this is an opportunity not only for people to go deep and have their own psycho-spiritual processes in breath work, we have the time to be able to help them make sense of what these experiences are, to integrate what it means, to apply it to their lifestyle. And along with that, we also provide them with presentations and discussions on related fields like the mystical traditions throughout time. What does a spiritual emergency mean? What are certain psychological structures that might block spiritual development? And then, most importantly, for those who are in the helping field, they can become certified and learn how to facilitate breath workshops on their own so that they can go back into their lives and they can start to do the work. And what's exciting about that to me is that we become like a little microcosm and the energy spreads and spreads, because I think that once people go through an in-depth process like this with guidance and support, I have seen miraculous transformations and, a new way of seeing themselves, the universe, um, life itself. And that's what I think we need in our world today to try to push up the consciousness level to a higher level so that we can live peacefully in this chaos.
Okay, so if I want to reframe to be sure that everybody understood that in traditional therapy, psychotherapy, it's take you years to go deeper in each trauma, issue, abuse, because all of us, we had, even though we haven't been physically abused, sometimes we have been emotionally, we have faced trauma that we cannot even imagine. And what is important to realize is that the body keeps scores. So if we don't work on all these issues, we will go over and over in life with it's like we will have a kind of veil all life long. So the idea of the breath work, it's really about unveiling all the shadows, all the trauma, all the abuse, everything that we have. And it's happening at a time T, I love to say, right now. We go in the training with you, and during the time it's happening.
Yes.
Right away.
Yes. So people, it's really a very simple process. There's nothing magical about it. It incorporates the natural breath. It incorporates strong music. And it's a kind of contemplation meditation, very powerful. And what's very important is that people feel secure, not only with the group around them, but when each person breathes, they have someone sitting right next to them, a partner, to make sure their space is safe, to make sure they feel secure. If they want water, the partner brings water to them. I'm there. The person that's working with me is there too. So there's two teachers. There may be, 10, 12 people breathing at one time. So we want people to feel secure, safe, and be able to go down inside and know that whatever happens, it's really okay and they're going to be cared for and supported. And it's so significant I mean, we've had people that have come with chronic illnesses such as asthma or, physical pain, and, where they had trouble walking, and they go through the blockages and they go through it, and it takes them beyond it. And suddenly these illnesses and these physical problems really disappear. And it just shows that, unconsciously, when trauma is being held inside, as you said, it can have real physical manifestations.
Exactly. And also I want to really emphasize the fact that when you do this kind of spiritual work, uh, deep processes arise. So at one point, it's important to be with somebody who know what they are doing, instead of just being in a place where, okay, we are doing breathwork without knowing all the consequences, because the consequences can be dangerous. I didn't want to use the word dangerous, but yes, we have to say it can be very dangerous. It can be traumatic, it can be dangerous, and people can have experiences who are beyond what we can even imagine. So it's important to be in a very safe place with somebody who knows. Like you are a professional, you are a professional in psychology first, then you went to your own process to be able to help others in the process. And
No,
that's what's it's important.
well, I mean, the idea is that, there are many people that say they're healers now and that kind of thing. The fact is that somebody is not going to be able to guide or be with a client or a student in a way that goes, that is further than they've gone. In other words, if you're going to a healer, and this is for the listeners to understand, if that healer has not done his or her own deep work, then they're not going to be able to take you past where they've gone. So
That's
that's
true.
why when we do this training and we say that people can get certified to do the work with others, we want to make sure they go through their own process,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can comfortably support and be with others where they go. So that's very important. I also want to say
Yes,
that
it's true.
over the years, I've worked with like thousands of people in the breath work, and it's been in different cultures, different countries, in Europe, in the US, in China, in South Korea, even in the Middle East. And I've never once had anybody have difficulty that they couldn't transform and get through. I mean, that says a lot. I so trust this method mainly
Yes.
because it brings up the inner wisdom in each individual. And that inner wisdom, I think, is connected to, the universal God force, what I call the God force. It's the divine that is at the core of each of us, in our souls, is the term
Mm-hmm.
I use, our core center. And it's like that's the energy that's guiding people along for their own transformation and betterment. And I think this is actually what's happening now in our world, collectively and globally. As difficult as things are, there's an energy that's trying to guide and push us to a higher level of consciousness. In that process, all the shadow needs to come up and explode. And that's what's been happening.
Yes, and if we have all been through 2020, where we had this time to reflect and to go deeper, and to face uncertainty. And uncertainty was something that nobody liked it. Even though you are super awakened, you don't like it, because it's a human nature to like to what we want to feel safe.
Right.
And the uncertainty, there is no safety there.
There's no external safety in our
Absolutely.
institutions. So
until we find it inside.
Go within. Absolutely.
Until we find it inside. So I believe it's really time to, and I was blessed to find you one time, and I took your class, and when we discussed, you explained that you were doing outside work as well, where you were inviting people to go inside and help them face all their shadows and raise above all that. But we have to face them first, of course, to go above inside.
So we're offering now, I think that after this COVID thing kind of pushes away, and it has to sooner or later, I think there's going to be a lot of post-traumatic stress, Medge, because
absolutely
people are going through a lot and really questioning, what does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to be alive? How to deal with the energy of death? What is it all about? I think what we're trying to offer now, which has been postponed a few times because of COVID, we're beginning of late fall 2021, is a 2-year breathwork training program that I really want to make people aware of. I think it's a really important time to do this. We're doing it in Delray Beach, Florida, which is a really lovely place, and in a very charming retreat center that's a Spanish missionary. And people who are serious in terms of their own development and path. And I invite them to check out, maybe contact me, and, Medge can give them, and because we're starting to register people now, space is limited. We want people who are really serious about not only their own inner process, but living in a world that is more peaceful and more loving. And, that's kind of what it's about right now.
Yes, I think it's true. It's really about going deeper and finding your path, because it's time to find it. And so Dr. Miller told us that she have a training in October. It will be in October, Delray Beach. So you can find more information on drjudithmiller.com. And you can email her at drjudithmiller@comcast.net. Otherwise, below this video, you will have information on how to reach her, and also how to understand what is the breathwork that she's doing. But she's doing something very special, I want to say, because it's not just breathwork, because you heard about breathwork, but she is doing a breathwork that she has adapted to her own research and her own work as a clinical psychologist. So take the time to check out her website send her an email. I will be sure that she will answer.
Yeah, and I just want people to know if they're interested or they have any questions, I'll be happy to meet with them on Zoom and just give them an opportunity to ask their questions, for them to meet me a little bit. I think you don't want to just sign up without really, checking things out and, making sure that this is right for you. So I'm making time in the next months to meet with people on Zoom, online, to answer questions, to discuss anything you want to, and then see if it's a right fit for you. We want the right, we expect that the group that forms is going to be the right people. And, so that's important to me, that because after it's over, these people are going to bring a kind of new energy into the world we're living in. So that's how I see it. It's a microcosm
So,
to help us all go forward. And I feel very privileged to be part of that process now.
I think it's important, and it's true what you say, because I have been in your class and I have been in your training this year, and we are a group and we have been transformed. We went through our fear of death and all that, and because of that we are closer, and also we can bring the work in the world. So it's important. If you want to bring the work in the world, if you want to have your inner transformation, so contact Dr. Judith Miller at drjudithmiller@comcast.net. You will have the detail below this video. So thank you so much, Dr. Miller. I absolutely love, our time together.
It's always great to see you. Thank you again very much.
Thank you. And we will speak very soon.